You can also check me. There's another way to check what I'm doing. As y'all know, I do like technology, okay? And I like it when it's used for good and not for bad. What you could do, you could check these examples that we're giving you, okay? They're on College Board, and there's on different things. You could run them through with an AI and ask it, please find the line of reasoning. Now, the AI is not going to be very daqiq. It's not going to be very precise, but it will help you to learn how to decipher and to look for things. Okay. You're not asking it to write for you. You're not asking it to create. You're not asking it to generate. You're asking it, it's a good way to help get you a boost. And if you don't understand something, does that make sense? And all right, so here we go. Now, I wanted to go back down here. And as you notice, like you see, we have the line of reasoning. Hold on one second. All right. Anyways, so we've pretty much established the line of reasoning, identifying the claims to build the argument and the connections between them. And you see, like, I don't know, بالنسبة لإلي, I would like to go back a little bit. One of them I didn't find too strong, صراحة. Remember, I showed it to you guys. I didn't find it that strong. So you have to be careful. You have to establish whether or not it's a strong or a weak argument. Okay. I want to go back and continue reading, and then we can also find another reason. I'm recording, right? No. Okay, some is here. So we stop like right about here. Now, let's go up. But perhaps educational, and we stopped here. This was a remedy. And I want to look at this right here. I want to start from here and go down and see if we can find, if we're making sure that we have the right argument. Would anybody like to read? Anyone? Hello? Sama, would you like to read?
Sure.
Go ahead. Go from but perhaps.
But perhaps educational institutions can address this challenge by integrating language into their other programs. One solution cited by advocates is dual language instruction, in which a variety of subjects are taught in two languages, thereby eliminating the need to hire a separate language instructor. Bill Rivers, one of the country's most prominent language lobbyists, points to significant evidence that students in dual language programs outperform their peers in reading and math by fourth grade, regardless of their race or socioeconomic status. And advocates say dual language programs are cost-effective because they typically don't require extra materials for the language instruction. A science textbook, for example, would simply be published in the target language. That means districts buy the same number of materials as they would without the language element. The same goes for the number of teachers needed, though those teachers need to be bilingual as well. Today, students, is that it? Do you want me to go on? Continue? Oh, okay. Today, schools are having a hard enough time finding instructors in traditionally taught languages. In fact, the average proficiency of language teachers is below that needed by the military. Hansen said, but efforts to recruit qualified, sorry, one second. but efforts to recruit qualified teachers to address the nation's language deficit often face the additional obstacle of developing programs focusing on less traditional languages. The list of languages designated by the federal government as critical include ones that many Americans have probably never even heard of before. There are more people in the world who speak Javanese than there are those to speak German, for example, and more who speak Landa than who speak French. The country has faced shortcomings in language education for at least the past several years. Enrollments have been persistently low, as have proficiency levels. The same goes for non-Western language offerings. And with English as a lingua franca of trade and international politics, bilingualism has become less of a priority. True, many people speak English proficiently, but 19 million Americans and millions of people globally do not. It's a nice to have, Rivers said. Languages are neat. It's not a nice to have, Rivers said. Languages are a need to have.
You know what, I just was thinking of something and analyzing this article. Can y'all look at the last paragraph? What do y'all think of that paragraph? What information are you finding in it? Just do a quick analysis.
It's like the results of like what happened.
It's not just that. Actually, the first sentence, you could use it as an argument. And if we were to do like a reverse thing, like maybe we could also put in our tool belt today, going through these exams. Okay. So the first thing, remember I gave y'all, we need to look for certain words, like factors, indicators, anything that, you know, would indicate a claim. And another thing, maybe if we skim a little bit and go towards the last paragraph, okay, it might help us to identify the argument, all right, and or the author's position and or the thesis. You can more or less, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but the country has faced shortcomings in language education for at least the past several years. And here, enrollments have been persistently low. I see a thesis right here, honestly. As have proficiency levels, and the same goes for non-Western offerings. I sort of see a thesis. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this does look like the thesis.
Right? So let's put some strategies that we could use on these tests. So let's do this. So let's start building our tool belt. I'm gonna go to synonyms. Crap, I can't spell. I'm an English teacher, I can't spell. Synonyms for claim. So assert, declare, profess, maintain. I would keep these words in my head. Okay? Assertion, declaration. Because if I see these words, that means somebody's stating something. Yani claim ish manaha. Ish manaha claim. Seriously, look it up in Arabic. What does it mean? What does claim mean in Arabic? Sometimes it helps me when I translate. I also speak Spanish. So sometimes when you understand a word in different ways. Mutalaba. Mutalaba. What's another word? Da'wa. Id'a. Claiming, pretension, plea, assumption. So basically, if we understand the word correctly, when you're making a claim, you're making a declaration. Okay, here's declaration. So yeah, I'm right. It means you're professing. It means you're telling. Okay, so if I memorize some of these words, I'm gonna more or less be able to I would identify the claim. All right. Now, the second thing that we're gonna look in our tool belt is that maybe if we jump down to the last paragraph, we can find the things that we need, which are the thesis and which is the claim, the argument. What was the question again? Main idea, argument, or thesis? I think we found like almost everything right here, okay? We don't have evidence though. But this sure did help a lot. This gave us a huge jump. Agreed or disagreed?
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
So a tool belt, the other tool that we would use, jump to the conclusion, okay? It's probably gonna be maybe on some article. This stuff is boring and it's tedious. It's probably gonna help you and go back through that way. So if I have those things listed on the paper, I can be able to list under it. So with the claim the country has faced shortcomings in language education for the past several decades. I need to, first of all, I need to back up the time claim and I need to back up the shortcomings. And they did, that's how they started. If we go back, they did start. This is the introduction. Priorities are determined language education losing out. Okay, yeah, there goes another claim. And he restated it down here. So it's a restatement. So there's the shortcomings, and cuts, and there it goes. So there's the claim to that. Honestly, if we had maybe come down here first, it would have helped. And then like, my advice would be to write it at those two statements at the top of your paper. And then shufu is in kif turbatuhum ma'bad, you know? So here would be claims, and how did they build the argument? Also, there was something else. There's not enough instructors. Okay, that's another claim, and they backed that up. All right, and they backed it up with a solution, which is to integrate it into different subjects. Now, the effectiveness of evidence. Do you think, how would you argue whether or not the evidence was effective? Anyone? Do you think
I feel like most of the evidence is effective, but if you look at the footnotes, some of them seem to have come from an article. So I don't know if it's credible or not.
look, the only one that's pretty much Brookings Institute, that's pretty high level.
Number 3, it looks like it came from an article.
Yeah, yeah. Freakonomics. That's like mid-level. Okay. So guys, this is where what we're teaching you in Capstone becomes relevant. They have 7 sources. I would go through them. So I'm going to write this down. So the first thing that we do is one of our tricks is to go to the conclusion. Second conclusion is memorizing synonyms. Okay. Our third tool belt to show that we do understand what's being told, because we have no idea what article is coming up. Okay. Is I would start going through the resources. Okay, what is this? That is a journal it's from Language Association. They didn't get it from Time Magazine. Okay, what does Freakonomics have to do with language learning? So where did they use this?
Maybe they used it in the one talking about business.
Yeah, let's see. Where's 3? There it goes. Less than 1% are proficient that they studied in a U.S. classroom. Okay. That's noteworthy considering that in 2008, almost all high schools now offered foreign languages. Okay. That's great. Overseas University Center for Language. It isn't that people don't. Okay. Why did you use Freakonomics to back this up? Why wouldn't I mean, I would probably use it for this in the industry, the Freakonomics. Does that make sense? Like I would probably use it, I would use that resource here instead of up here. Like for this one, the Center for, okay, that's relevant. But why would I use something about Freakonomics is a business idea. Okay, but why would I use that up there? So that's questionable. That's about mid-level. Must go travel. What is that? Is that like a blog or something? Let's see.
It doesn't look reliable as well.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things usually are what they sound like, must go. So this is basically like, what is that thing called? One where you rate stuff? Crap, I cannot even think. Sort of like Yelp, right? Okay. Why are you using Must Go Travel? How's that relevant? So do you understand the process that I'm using? I would also go through these. Like I would be suggesting like to use another resource. I don't understand how that's relevant. Let's go to 4. I mean, are they talking about travel?
What's the dirty stuff?
Where's 4? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Oh my God, I can't see it. We're never gonna find it. There's 5. وين راح 4؟
Scroll a bit more up.
Where did they use this?
Oh, here. I underlined it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Andrew. According to a national survey. So is this survey, did Must Go Travel? I can't spell. It's not even associated with that website. Right? You guys see it? Like Pew Research, learning a foreign language, a must in Europe. If they put Pew, I'd get it. But still, crap, sorry. I still don't understand the connection. Like right here, none. Guys, does anybody know what ND means? What's ND?
Means the author is unknown.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask it. So again, I would be asking myself this question. When you're putting together your paper, please remember, this is يعني أقل إشي, you should be matching the sources with the title and the subtitles. They have to be relevant. So again, this exercise right here is a double whammy. So if we're gonna go through and we're gonna like get some hacks, again, to reiterate, I would sort of kind of jump to the conclusion because you know that
It means no date. My bad.
well, I mean, it means no something, right? I always forget if it's Nono Domini or because they're usually yeah, but it also has no date. Wait. Why would I use something with no date, something that's relevant right now? Right? Okay, so why would I use that? That would be my think. I mean, this is really relevant. I would also be looking at dates. This is from 2015. So why would I be using something with no date? I mean, they're talking about reform right now. So let's say they wrote this article was written 20 years from before. No, I can't because I have to know what the numbers are now. Okay. So the no date, I can't use those. A no date, like you could use them if it was a historical article or like an article on religion, things that stuff that doesn't die, right? Okay, we also said hacks, synonyms for claims. Let's see if we can use these hacks here. Ditch the GPS, it's ruining your brain. Okay, does this sound like an opinion? It sounds like a definitely opinion. There's going to be a argument. Has become the most natural thing. Let's go over this. So hack 1, we go to the what's it called? The conclusion. Over the past few years, spoke with master navigators from different cultures who show me that practicing navigation is a powerful form of engagement with the environment that can inspire a greater sense of stewardship Finding our way on our own uses perception, empirical observation, and problem-solving skills, forcing us to attune ourselves to the world, and by turning our attention to the physical landscape that sustains and connects us, we can nourish topophilia, a sense of attachment and love for place. You'll never get that from waiting for a satellite to tell you how to find a shortcut. Oh, cool. Let me ask you this. Okay. So, do y'all feel like this gave you some information on the article?
Yeah.
Can y'all find the thesis, more or less? And
Maybe practicing navigation is a powerful form of engagement with the environment that can inspire a greater sense of stewardship and
these right here, finding our
the
own
rest.
perception, empirical observation. So it's not Shubasawi. I would write down on my side notes, stewardship, see if it's used again. Finding your own way. يعني بحطهم هيك right there. Can we do that here? Crap. So, all right. So the things that I would do, finding, يعني I would start jotting down notes because you do only have half an hour. Using perception. These are the notes that I would be taking. I would try to see if there's any claims made for that. Empirical evidence. Empirical evidence. Did I spell it right? Crap. What did I say? Empirical observation. And problem-solving skills. Now we're gonna have to see if this stuff is backed up. And then observation. So do you see how I made a note? That way it'd be a little hack. And then I'd start taking it. I mean, I'm sure you can't get a card, but I would start taking it. Personal, the hundreds of millions now rarely travel without them. These gadgets are extremely powerful, allowing people to know their location at all times, explore unknown places, and avoid getting lost. But they also affect perception and judgment. When people are told which way to turn, it relieves them of the need to know to create their own routes and remember them. They pay less attention to their surroundings, and neuroscientists can now see that brain behavior changes when people rely on turn-by-turn directions. Okay, let me ask you something. Up till now, this whole little paragraph, what is it? Is it claim or evidence?
Evidence.
It's a claim. Here's the evidence. Okay. Up until now, this is all, unless I see the actual study, this is a claim. All right.
Even where it has the sentence talking about neuroscientists.
Yeah, they haven't shown us anything. This is the evidence. They have an actual, when we go look down at one, Jabari, Hamiyon, whatever, hippocampal prefrontal processing of network typology to stimulate the future. And this seems to be a journal study. So this is high level. This is tier 1. Okay. And just looking over these, yani a little bit, they used all, كلياته, it's all, what's it called? They're all journal studies. So these are pretty high level. It's better than the last article where they had no date and stuff, and dates are super important. But going back here, so in a study published in Nature Communications, researchers asked subjects to navigate a virtual simulation of London's blue neighborhood, monitor their brain activity, specifically the hippocampus, which is integral to spatial navigation. Those who are guided by direction, so less activity than participants who navigated without the device. The hippocampus makes an internal map of the environment, and this map becomes active only when you're engaged in navigating and not using GPS. Okay, so there's that. Did he support the claim? Finding your own way, yeah, and using perception. Yeah, he did talk about that. All right. The hippocampus is crucial to many aspects of daily life. It allows us to orient in space and know where we are by creating cognitive maps. It also allows us to recall events from the past, what is known as episodic memory. And remarkably, it is the part of the brain that neuroscientists believe it gives us the ability to imagine ourselves in the future. Study, it's highly susceptible to experience. London's taxi drivers famously have greater gray matter volume in the hippocampus as a consequence of memorizing the city's labyrinth streets. Is that, let's see, is that actually upheld too? A navigation? Okay, they actually upheld that. There is evidence. Meanwhile, atrophy in the part of the brain is linked to devastating conditions, including stress disorder. All right. So we understand that it does contribute like to brain growth. So what was the question here? Empirical, no, okay. What isn't known is the effect of GPS on the hippocampal function. Over long periods, Javadi said the conclusion he draws from recent studies that when people use tools, they tend to engage less. Therefore, the brain area for Neva is less used. Consequently, the brain areas involved in navigation tend to shrink. Okay. So him talking about the brain shrinking and growing, what is he supporting? What do you think?
Not the use of GPS.
Yeah. So he's saying to get away from it. So we could, I mean, like basically, and I've spoken from different cultures, show me that practicing is a powerful. Okay, I got 9 minutes left. It's a powerful form of engagement. So he just supported this, the powerful form of engagement with the environment. Okay. You can use perception, empirical observation. Okay, and so basically this is even more support. So the large taxi driver brain or the large hippocampus is another thing. And now look at this part. If we are paying attention to our environment, we're stimulating our hippocampus, and a bigger hippocampus seems to be protective against Alzheimer's. Okay. So again, a more support for the term stewardship. Okay. When we get lost, it activates the hippocampus, which gets us completely out of the habit mode. Getting lost is good. Then safely, getting lost could be a good thing. Saturated with devices, children today might grow up to see navigation from memory or paper map as anachronistic as rote memorization or typewriting. But for them especially, independent navigation and freedom to explore are vital to acquiring spatial knowledge that may improve hippocampal function. Turning off the GPS and teaching them navigational skills could have enormous cognitive benefits later. Anything about this kid stuff? Do y'all see any evidence? Is this arguable? We have the Alzheimer's thing, but this stuff about kids. Do you think they should have provided evidence?
Yes.
Or do we have enough evidence? Like with the taxi driver thing.
I mean, a taxi driver could differ from a child.
Can we argue that this paragraph needs something? Like when we're writing the paper, we could say that this needs some kind of resource. Just to be safe. Anyone? What do you think? Hello? Hello, hello?
Yes.
Now, here's a claim. This is the thing. Children might grow up to see what's an anachronistic. Let's make sure. Something old-fashioned. I don't know. I'd argue against it. Have y'all ever seen this? There's this game you can play all over the world called Geocache. And all you do is you find treasures. Have y'all ever played this? Okay. Well, yeah, you do use a GPS, but this is like, you know, it's like a cool thing. There is a certain amount where you do like look for stuff. But this would be an argument against it. And a lot of young people play it. So do you think that they need some? There's nothing talking about kids here. I don't think they supported it. And just the reason why I'm bringing it up, they talk about Alzheimer's. They talk about PTSD and why you need a hippocampus. Where's 5? Stress and adult neurogenesis. Stress have gone and the growth of new neurons. You see, but I don't see anything about kids. I would have suggested something. You can't, this is a claim without evidence. Okay, and is there a study? Is there a survey? Okay, this is an assumption. Kids, you know. Does that make sense to you guys? And do you understand ليش نقدتها؟ يعني okay, حكى عن الأطفال. They talked about kids, but I don't see anything to support it. So we got about 5 minutes left. So basically, did you guys find it easier to jump to the conclusion? Do you think it helped?
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna like, not every essay that we read is just gonna have that.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't think so, at least.
yeah. But it does help a little bit. It gets you a little bit on track. So, yani, this could, I'm just saying, you could do these little steps. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. And then a second is like, you do have to be careful whether or not they actually do support things. All right. Because like this one about the kids, it's not supported. There is stuff about Alzheimer's, nothing about kids. All right. And then we go back to the claim, the things that the points brought up here. They did bring up stuff about finding your way and using perception and empirical observation and problem solving skills. I would keep these little points and I would use it to answer you could say, you know, there is more or less like a thesis. And I would also use it to identify claims and how they made the connections between them. So these little notes right here, they can help you build the argument. I think I got y'all something else. Yeah. Any questions? We're gonna have to talk about writing and part B next. Y'all, did this help, these 2 exercises?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
All right. I'll start writing up this stuff so that, but I do think it's a good idea to memorize these little synonyms. I need to include a part B for you guys. Okay, and we'll try very hard tomorrow that we meet and we go over part B. Okay. You do need to read. I do suggest this is from Google Classroom. Go back to Google Classroom. Even if you're not solving it, okay? Going over it's going to help you a lot. Go through these different pieces. Tomorrow we'll go through line of reasoning again and we'll go synthesis piece بالدواء. All right,
At what time is tomorrow's meeting approximately?
that's a good question. Let me, probably around this time. I'll try to do it around 1. Inshallah bukra. I want to do 12 or 1. Is that good for everyone?
And that's good for me.